I'm ready when you are.
I'd like to call to order this meeting of the First Five Sacramento Commission for Monday, February 6, 2023. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll and establish a quorum?
Yes, sir. Chair Cerna.
Here.
Commissioner Searinger is out. Commissioner Fernandez y Garcia is out. Commissioner Gordon is out. Commissioner Casirier? Not here. Commissioner Cathari?
Here.
Commissioner Wirtz?
Here.
Commissioner Kennedy? Commissioner Hassett?
Here.
Commissioner Turner Johnson?
Here.
Commissioner Evans?
Here.
Commissioner Gross?
Here.
Commissioner Calles?
She's just walking up.
And Commissioner Moak will be late. We do have a quorum.
Great, thank you. Okay, if you could please rise with me and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, do you want to read our statement, please?
Yes, sir. This meeting of the First Five Sacramento Commission is cablecast live on Metro 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast, Consolidated Communications, and AT&T Uverse cable systems. This meeting is closed captioned and live streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting replays Wednesday, February 8th at 2 p.m. on Channel 14. This meeting can also be viewed at youtube.com/metrocable14.
Great, thank you. Again, I'd like to welcome everyone that's joined us here in Chambers this afternoon. I see a lot of friendly faces and friends in the gallery, so it's always good to see folks here in person. We're still kind of growing reaccustomed to having in-person meetings, but suffice it to say that when we have the opportunity to see one another, I think it bodes well for the afternoon. I do want to remind folks that you are more than welcome to address the Commission on any matter that is on our printed agenda or any matter that is not on our agenda. We only ask that you please keep your comments to 3 minutes. That way everyone who wants to address the Commission has that opportunity. So with that, Madam Clerk, our first item.
Approval of December 5th, 2022 draft action summary.
Okay. Do we have anyone signed up to speak on this matter?
No, sir, we do not.
Okay, I'll turn to the Commission. Any members of the Commission wish to pull the item for comment or changes? If not, I entertain a motion.
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Wirtz. Second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Katari. All right, we're doing roll call, right?
Yes. Chair Cerna.
Aye.
Commissioner Hassett.
Aye.
Commissioner Turner Johnson.
Aye.
Commissioner Evans.
Aye.
Commissioner Gross.
Aye.
Commissioner Cathari.
Aye.
And Commissioner Wirtz.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Very good, thank you. The next item, as I just mentioned, is the public's opportunity to address this Commission on any matter that's not on our agenda. Madam Clerk, do we have anyone that has submitted speaker slips?
Not for this item, sir.
Very good, thank you. Then we're on to the next item.
Item number 3, Executive Director's Report.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
Great to see you all. I actually wanted to kick off my Executive Director's Report with a heartfelt thank you to our County Council, Rick Heyer. This is Rick's last meeting with us. I don't know why he's been reassigned, but he's been reassigned. But he has been just phenomenal to work with and is going to leave a big hole up there. And just, I so appreciate all his work behind the scenes to make our operations up here in front of the public so smooth. Staff kind of wanted to give a quick standing ovation, so we're going to. We have a very small token of appreciation for you.
And while our Executive Director is doing that, I'll just speak on behalf of the Commission to say that Rick has been great to work with in this capacity and in many others with the county, and he's always willing to provide firm advice, but also understanding that sometimes we need some flexibility when it comes to what our charge is. And in the legal context, I think he has come to really understand the need for that flexibility. So I just want to say a note of personal thanks for helping advise and counsel this commission, and certainly open it up to other commissioners if they want to comment, as was mentioned, is Rick's last meeting. Great, thank you.
Excellent. I do have highlights in your packet. I won't spend a lot of time on them today because we have a full agenda and people who are really here to address you. But a couple quick things. Our staff are meeting together at the office for a 2-day racial equity retreat with our consultant. We completed a assessment to look at our own skill set as we move forward in the current plan and especially in the new strategic plan. And we'll be looking over those assessments and creating some real action plans for our team to build skills and carry out the work of the new plan. So very exciting. 3 items in this report are related to our parent engagement and parent leadership program, and probably Commissioner Gross can speak to them even better than I can. But we did launch the Parent Leadership Training Institute in January. I believe we had 24 parents. It was a blustery, rainy, and windy day, and yet we had such a great turnout. And that kicked off our retreat, and then 20 in-person sessions following on Wednesday nights for the next 20 weeks happening. So super exciting. As I mentioned, we had 80-something parents want to participate in PLTI, and we were only able to select 20 to 24. So for the others, we didn't want to leave them with no options. So the staff and the PLTI leaders are creating something called PACE, which is the Parent Academy on Civic Engagement. And we have 12 video sessions that are at your own pace for parents who want to learn about how to engage in civic leadership and advocacy on behalf of their children. We had Chair Cerna was interviewed for the topic of civic literacy, the role of politics and government. So thank you for kicking that off, Chair Cerna. We have 11 other speakers identified and videoing, and we hope to get this one launched within the next couple of months. Also exciting. And then finally, the Family Advocacy Mentoring Network, which we're calling FAMNet. And FAMNet is like a clearinghouse of local agencies and organizations that provide opportunities for parent engagement and looking for parents to sit on committees, commissions, and boards, and or to speak and talk to the existing boards on just areas that are important for them and their children. And so this is going to set parents who want that opportunity to engage civically and give them a place to do so. So it's sort of a 3-prong approach right now. We're really excited. It's all kind of coming together in 2023 and gives us something to build on for the next strategic plan. I did want to say a word about Prop 10 revenue projections, which are kind of a little bit all over the place right now. As you know, we did experience a pretty significant decrease when Prop 56 was passed a couple years back, and the smoking age was increased to 21 years from 18 years. And then we kind of leveled out again with our usual 2 to 3% decrease with the passage of Prop 31, which was the flavored tobacco ban in November. That began shortly thereafter, and we don't know yet what the impact is. We're hearing it could be as much as 20%. It will be a volatile next 18 months or so, and then we should go back to our normal 2 to 3% decrease, but we kind of don't know yet what the impact of this is going to be. So as stores, I think, continue to sell down their wares and that kind of stuff, we'll know more in about 6 to 12 months, for sure. So I think I will. Oh, I do want to say one last thing. Several of the staff met and participated in our annual First Five Association Summit, which took place for the first time since 2019. And I actually had the honor of presenting to about 100 of my colleagues on our own strategic planning process and how we centered racial equity in our new plan. And it was really amazing. So many people following up afterwards, asking about our process and what we did differently and what our product looks like. And that product is what you all will get to respond to later on in this meeting. And with that, I will close. Any questions?
Great. Thank you, Julie. Any questions for our Executive Director? Okay. Seeing none. Madam Clerk, do we have anyone signed up to address this item?
No, sir, we do not.
All right. Very good. Thank you again, Julie.
Yep.
Next item, please.
Item number 4 is the advisory committee update. Appoint Tony Smith to medical health provider seat and Darla Williams to communications and, community and neighborhood seat.
Perfect. So yes, our committee did not meet since our last commission meeting. We are up to get together on this Friday. And actually, we will have Chair Cerna joining us on Friday in person for our meet and greet the commissioner opportunity. So that'll be exciting. We do have 2 applicants for open positions right now. Darla Williams would be new to the committee. She's a longtime preschool early educator and is very connected to our local community and even goes through her Facebook page beyond local and into state and federal connections. And then Tony Smith is a current member who seeks to be reappointed in his position.
All right. Very good. Thank you. Madam Clerk, do we have anyone signed up to speak on this matter?
No, sir, we do not.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Wirtz.
Yes, I just want to take a moment to mention that Tony Smith has been on the evaluation committee for several years and has played a very positive role and has been the alternate in the most recent period, but has been a very strong advocate. And I just want to thank him for his service and hope that he can continue.
Yep. Thank you.
Any other commissioners have comments? If not, entertain a motion at this point. We need to make 2 appointments, Tony Smith and Darla Williams.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Wirtz. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, seconded. Please call the roll.
Chair Cerna.
Aye.
Commissioner Hassett.
Aye.
Commissioner Turner-Johnson.
Aye.
Commissioner Evans.
Aye.
Commissioner Kasiri.
Aye.
Commissioner Kathari.
Aye.
Commissioner Wirtz.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Very good, thank you. And thanks again to Tony Smith and Darla Williams for their past service and future service. Next item, please.
Item number 5, evaluation committee update.
Okay.
Thank you. The evaluation committee met on January 27th and had a full agenda. We approved the 2023 meeting calendar. And in the staff update, we learned about ongoing progress with discussions about improving data collection at our programs with some specific follow-up that the committee was concerned and interested in tracking. We also then heard from our evaluators, Applied Survey Research, who laid out the plan for their presentations over the next year. And then the bulk of our discussion was around the First Five Sacramento annual report for fiscal year 2021 to 2022, which we approved and will come to this commission in the future. And I'll just mention that it shares some of the data that's in the report that we're going to hear from today and did lead to a a discussion around the infant mortality data, and we will hear more about that later. But otherwise, the committee continues to do its job, and I again appreciate the involvement of the advisory committee. We have 3 members, with Tony being the alternate for the other 2, Robin and Emily, and we just want to thank them again for their ongoing work with the committee. And that's it for my report.
Very good. Thank you. Any questions of Commissioner Wirtz? All right. Seeing none, Madam Clerk, do we have anyone signed up to address the commission on this item?
No, sir, we do not.
All right. Next item, please.
Item number 6, Financial Planning Committee update.
Hi, everybody. So the Financial Planning Committee met on January 19th and established quorum. We then entertained nominations and held elections for a new chairperson and vice chair for the committee. Sylvia Rodriguez was elected vice chair, and I will be serving as the chair. Staff updated the committee on an organizational survey they're conducting that looks at the staffing levels and structure of other first fives. The survey collected data from 6 counties, 3 that have the next higher birth rate than ours and 3 with the next lower birth rate. And the committee pointed out some information gaps and areas that needed clarification in the report and asked staff to follow up with the counties in order to present the data in a more meaningful way. Like, one of them had like 85 staff people, and the numbers did not make sense to us. Staff discussed Proposition 31, which Julie already mentioned, which is a ban on the sale of flavored tobacco products and its impact on Prop 10 revenues. The ban began in January, so we don't have any data. However, the state is reporting a 22% reduction in revenues, so staff will be monitoring the revenue and determine whether we need to take any action on our current fiscal year revenues. Staff reviewed the successes that have been realized lately in sustaining and leveraging new funding, and a chart was presented showing pre-award, post-award, and continuing requirements that come with each of these new funding sources. And staff has concluded that a new clerical position would help to free up the time of some other positions to onboard this new funding. The committee is recommending including the new position in the budget so that the full commission can have the opportunity to consider approval during the budget process. And we reviewed financial statements for the second quarter, and we did not really have any comments. And that concludes my report.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner Hassett. Any questions for Commissioner Hassett? Madam Clerk, do we have anyone signed up to speak on this matter?
No, sir, we do not.
All right. Thanks again. Next item, please.
Item number 7, Systems Optimization and Sustainability Committee update.
Good afternoon, everyone. The SOS committee did not meet in December. Our next meeting is scheduled for February 21st. The committee will be reviewing and approving the 2023 policy priorities and begin discussions around implementing the systems goals outlined in our 2024 strategic plans. That concludes our report.
Great. Thank you very much. Any questions from commissioners? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, anyone sign up to address this matter?
No, sir, we do not.
All right, thank you. And before we move on to the next item, I just want to express publicly my thanks to the commissioners that lead these various committees. That is a lot more time and commitment than most of us give to this commission, and I really, on behalf of the entire commission, really appreciate what you do on a ongoing basis. It really helps inform a very deliberate decision-making process here, and we can't do it without you, so thanks again. All right, next item, please.
Item number 8 is review and comment on First 5 Sacramento Draft 2024 Strategic Plan.
All right.
On. All right, perfect. Okay, so before I even begin, I just wanted to put out a sincere thank you to my team who really have done so many hours of work on this plan. It's Lindsay Dunkel and Latina Price, both of them from content to their creative powers to learning new design software so we could do this in-house and save a lot of money. So very excited about the plan today and very grateful to my team for helping with it.
Julie, before you get started, just again want to remind folks, especially those that perhaps joined us after the meeting commenced, you're certainly very welcome to address the commission on this matter. If you would like to do that, please take the time to fill out a speaker slip and hand it to our clerk. That way I can call you in order so that we can hear your thoughts. Go ahead.
Perfect. There's a PowerPoint that goes with this presentation that should be up soon, maybe. Okay, speak and you shall receive. As you know, every 3 years, we engage in a major overhaul of our strategic plan, and that guides our investments over the 3-year contracting period. And this year, for the first time and maybe forever, you've all sat through those meetings and helped create this plan in a way that is very unique. Okay, let's see. There we go. And as a reminder that this is our high-level guidance for our investments with the percentages of our program budget allocated into the 5 priority areas you created. In June, you'll consider approval of our implementation plan, which is really the detail behind this high-level document. This slide highlights our foundational principles or the values that are at the core of our new plan. And our process began last March with the release of an RFA for the strategic planning consultant. You all approved the selection of the SEED Collaborative to lead our work at the May meeting, and they dove right in and conducted assessments and an analysis of our current documents. They held interviews and focus groups. They released a community survey and took a deep look at our organizational documents. At the August, October, and November commission meetings, you took in a lot of information, a lot of data that came your way, and you made decisions about the top 5 priorities of where First 5 should invest its funds. You also identified medium-term goals for the 2024 to 27 strategic plan period, and in December, you affirmed those goals and allocated a % of the available funding to each of the 5 priority areas. I'd like to highlight what a departure this was from our typical process and how we have approached strategic planning, really thinking about doing things differently. And I feel like that sort of all began with this commission's approval of our resolution on racial equity and social justice back in 2021. That sort of took the commission, sort of set the path for us to move forward. And we began looking at the ways in which white supremacy shows up in strategic planning and how it had actually shown up for us in the past. We changed our process, we changed our timeline, and we changed our funding resources, both in dollars and in the inclusion of all of you, our staffing, human resources in it. And again, we ended with, it's not about, right or wrong of our past, but it was about knowing better and doing better for our future. So, the other thing that we did very differently this time is instead of using our community feedback to reaffirm what we were already doing or to redistribute our current investments and our current priorities, we looked to the community to tell us what their needs were and what we should be supporting. And this included a wide array of leaders, systems leaders, and direct service providers, both from funded partners and non-funded partners, and then, most importantly, parents who were not already familiar with the work of the commission. So the leaders, the parents, and those providers helped in the development of a community needs assessment survey that was answered by 855 parents, with the vast majority never having been involved in a First Five program. Oh, sorry, I forgot to do that. Okay. So, I seem to be going backward. It's going backward instead of forward. Oh, that would be helpful. Okay, good. Sorry about that. All right. Okay, so you did work super hard right here to help us develop that, the mission statement, which you will painstakingly remember with a lot of wordsmithing, but I think it was so worth it in the end because we have an amazing mission statement now. And then, whereas in the past we had a strategic hierarchy, was sort of what we called our visual. Staff felt that a different kind of visual would representing the 5 priority areas was called for in this plan, and one that was explicitly non-hierarchical. So we developed and refined this image, which centers children and families. It shows the 5 priorities interlocking around children and families, which are the center of the work, and then it shows our sort of core functions to convene, invest, advocate, collaborate, and build capacity around the outside. And this slide speaks to our evolving values, I think more so than any other slide in the presentation. As you know, budgets are value statements, and I'm proud that the Commission truly embraced the centering of racial equity by allocating significant dollars to that priority and to its corollary, the parent partnership priority, which allows us to continue to build on our work to center the community voice in our future decisions. Of course, it also bolsters our efforts to improve child and family serving systems while allowing staff to be allocated to convene those cross-sector partnerships and to advocate for additional funding and policies that directly impact children and families, and those direct services that we're funding in the other 2 priorities, which are health and well-being and quality child care. I'd like to note that this slide has been updated slightly to match a handout that's at your desk, and I'd like to thank Commissioner Wirtz for helping us figure out an error that we had in calculating, and it actually resulted in a little bit more money being able to be divided out here in the amongst all 5 priority areas. You may recall that in our current strategic plan, we have $100,000 per year allocated for systems improvement, and we had, for some reason, accidentally kept that money out, but that money should be part of this, so it got distributed equally amongst all of them, and the updated version is here on this slide and at your desk. Okay. And next. So as mentioned, the strategic plan is a high-level document, and for each priority area, there's going to be 1 to 3 outcomes that state what we'd like to see by 2027. And then there's 2 to 4 goals, which lay out what we plan to do to reach those. And then finally, we also include some sample strategies for each one. So this is an example of one of the priority areas, but all of them are listed in the strategic plan. This one for priority for childcare, and you can see that the oh my gosh, did I do it again? Oh, I did, sorry. Okay. The priority will also share the 3-year funding allocation. Our major outcome is that children are connected to affordable quality childcare and early learning. There are 2 goals for this. Some of them have more goals. And then a couple sample strategies. These aren't written in stone at this point for any of the priorities, but we are going to be taking all of the strategies identified, out to the community to ask for parent feedback, funded partner, and other feedback, and try to really refine and hone these strategies so that when it comes to you in the implementation plan, you'll see exactly what we would be funding and how our competitive bid or participatory funding processes might happen around these to make them a reality. So we did learn, and we're still learning, but we did learn a few things throughout the process. So by reaching parents who were primarily not already receiving First Five services, we got to hear new voices which surfaced new and different needs from our prior years. It was also really affirming because sort of simultaneously, a little after ours, about 2 months ago, Department of Child, Family, and Adult Services did a community needs assessment for their Families First Prevention Services funding. And the top needs that came out from that were identical to the top needs that came out from our surveys. And that was childcare, always is the top desire for parents. And the other was sort of those basic needs, things like affordable housing, healthy foods, diapers, wipes, things that we typically hadn't heard before in our strategic planning. Parents were also very clear about their desire to partner with First Five and to have a pathway to leadership within our commission, both to enter into the advisory committee as well as onto the commission, and for leadership opportunities as to work together in community and advocating for children and families. And with the consistent decline in tobacco revenue, as we talked about earlier, we heard more and more about sustainability and the Commission's desire to have staff continue our efforts around bringing in new dollars to fund programs, direct service programs, as our funding decreases. And finally, we looked at priorities, outcomes, and goals of the new plan. It's apparent that we'll need to change some of our strategies for how we're going to do this work. So things like mini grants programs, again, to really reach communities that we aren't able to serve, and to bring on grassroots agencies, BIPOC-owned and run agencies to serve those communities. Participatory funding opportunities as opposed to those competitive bid processes that sort of pit agencies against each other. Things we might be able to incorporate in an RFP process when things are competitive to require proposers, bidders, to include community voice and a feedback mechanism in their own proposals to us so that we know better what parents think that those services are needed. So lots of stuff for us to continue to learn and do. The 3-year spending plan totals $44.6 million. And so that's approximately 8% in administration, which is still under our 10% cap. It's about 3% in evaluation and 89% for program. These percentages are in line with all of our prior year strategic plan spending plans. And while the admin and eval line items are pretty straightforward, the program line item includes sort of two different pieces. That is, these are the discretionary dollars, if you will, that the commission has to work with. And some of this funding is all under this is also sort of internal operations of the commission.
Julie?
Yeah.
Can I interrupt here?
Sure.
Do we know percentage-wise how this compares to First Five California?
So First Five California is really different than us, and they have a set schedule of how they must spend their dollars. But this is a question that we asked when we did our recent survey of the 6 agencies with the birth rates, 3 higher than us and 3 agencies.
You mean other county First Fives?
County First Fives, yes. And what we found is that I think we actually had the highest, if not the second highest level of program expenses compared to other counties. Other counties have rates anywhere from 10 to 15% for admin. and we've always tried to keep ours below 10%. So I think we're doing really, really well here. We did go down by 1% in this plan the current 2021 to 2024 plan. I think we're at 90% program, 7% admin, and 3% eval. So a slight difference. So that program line item, I think what's important to know, and it's really hashed out in the implementation plan, but what's important to know is that what goes in there are all those things like our direct services for contracts for direct services, things like our consultants around racial equity, stipends for the community and parent partnership, those parent leadership costs around whatever we might be doing in parent leadership moving forward. These could be contracts with like hospitals for birthing friendly designation assistance, and they could also be other programs, strategies, or staffing that the commission approves in the implementation plan. That's the biggest chunk. That's 35 million of that is for those things. And then in-house, about 4.5 million is the program staffing that goes along with for our RAACD work or our school readiness work or associated work. So it also includes things like program supplies, books and growth charts and media costs, and of course allocated, the thing we all have to pay, allocated costs to the county. So, you'll not seared in your brains the way it is in ours, but when you see the implementation plan, each priority will show you at the bottom, after it talks about the strategies and what we're going to fund and how it will be laid out. Each priority will have the amount of staff allocated to it and the program costs and all of that, so you can have it in one place by priority. Yep.
Thank you.
Sure. So what's next is that the strategic plan you have before you today is just in draft form, and we are looking forward to your comments on it. We will then take your comments, incorporate them in, and bring it to the Board of Supervisors on March 14th. This is the one time we get to go before the board every 3 years to share with them our work and take their comments and suggestions, incorporate those, and bring the document back to you in April for your approval. Following today's meeting, we will reach out to parent partners and other leaders to begin sort of simultaneously talking about those strategies. While funding for the priority is set, funding for individual strategies is not, and we really want to hear from community about that. And then staff will also work with our evaluation consultants at ASR to develop indicators for each of those priorities, which you will see also in the implementation plan. And then finally, once all of that's been approved, we will begin our funding processes around how to get the money out the door so that either existing services continue beginning July 1st of 2024, and new services can begin at that date. So in closing, I just wanted to say that I think you'll realize that this plan looks a lot different in many ways than our prior plans. We're super proud of the work that First 5 Sacramento's been focusing on deliberately, changing the process for this new plan, and it names our health, early care, and family support inequities. And then it calls out funding priorities and strategies to clearly address those inequities. So I believe we can make a real impact with this plan, and I just wanted to say thank you all for your contributions toward it. It would not look like this without each of you, so thank you.
Great. Thank you, Julie. And let me just say, I think I've had a chance now to be present and participatory in 3 or 4 different strategic plan efforts for First 5 Sacramento. And I would say this by far, this experience with this particular strategic plan, this has been the most methodical and thoughtful effort, I think, that we've endeavored. And I think a lot of the credit needs to be mentioned, and it lies with your I think, genuine interest in not just wanting to do better, but in light of diminishing resources, how do we grapple with that simultaneously and being very sober about it? And again, I want to give a lot of credit to you and your leadership, as well as to all the First Five staff and our consulting team as well. I know that there were a number of meetings, interviews, surveys, a lot of different activity around getting to this point, but I think we can all be proud of this. But again, it started, I think, with the architecture of it was really due to your thoughtfulness, and I just want to recognize that. Dr. Kasiri.
I also wanted to add to that and thank you for your leadership in being willing to look at things differently, and also to grapple with the racial disparities that we all see, and to ensure that the racial equity is a core part of every single strategy that we're looking at. So again, thank you, and thank you for the staff for the work that they put into this.
Great.
Thank you.
Commissioner Qatari.
Yeah, thank you. I too want to echo the appreciation, but also say that for those of you who don't know, Julie and her team really are not only looking at the work that First Five is doing, but consistently lifting up and looking at how to inform work across the county and across the community. So one example is the board invested recently $7.2 million into CBO capacity building for BIPOC-led and serving organizations, and Julie really helped to inform how to set that up and how to structure it, and is really looking at how do we link the work of First Five to the link of the rest of our departments and our community-based organizations. So appreciation in that regard.
Thank you. I'm really looking forward to that partnership, and it could be a great way to hand over some of our funding after it's been off the ground for a year or so. We can figure out how it's working and see if it makes sense to include our funding in what the county is doing, and thereby getting some extra bang for our buck.
Great, thank you. Commissioner Turner-Johnson.
I just want to add on to that sentiment
because your microphone.
What did I do wrong? Sorry. I thought I'd done everything. I hit the button and all. Sorry. In any case, just want to add on to that, because as we went through this entire process with those wonderful meetings together over at CR Health, I just think that what kept reverberating in my mind is exactly what my fellow commissioners said about the intersectionality of both buying in and committing and dedicating, but also delivering. We cannot forget that it's one thing to write a beautiful document, well said, with great meaning. It's another thing to make sure it's implemented. And I'm not focusing on us specifically. I'm talking about the intersectionality of delivery throughout every aspect. So I applaud you, because I know that's where the soul of the leadership in this resides. I thank you for that, and we're with you.
Thank you so much.
Commissioner Wirtz.
Thank you. Yes, I want to also express my appreciation and recognition of Julie and the team staff at the First Five Commission and the commissioners for doing something that I think is really leadership in the state, and that is to take the racial equity resolution that we passed and the Board of Supervisors passed and start making it real. And I think even with your comment about written statements aren't action, but I would say that a lot of action has happened. We changed the way we look at things. We have come up up with a plan that really reflects a different form of action, and I think it really does reflect leadership here in Sacramento, and I was glad to hear the partnership with county activities, because First Five cannot do this work in isolation, and our commitment to sustainability and expansion of our collaboration is essential. And the leadership we're showing with this kind of a plan will help us in that effort, and I was pleased to hear that it's already doing so. And I just have to say that I'm very impressed with the mission. I was really happy with how we came up with that, and I think it really does reflect the complexities of what we deal with. The priorities, the outcomes, and the goals all seem really well thought out, and I'm really pleased to see us move forward on this. So again, just thank you for everyone that was involved, staff, the community, for stepping up and coming and helping us figure out what we can do better. And so thank you very much for that, and I look forward to our next steps.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. And I see Mr. Hewitt is in the gallery, so I want to take this opportunity to also thank Sierra Health Foundation for hosting a number of our meetings and convenings, and of course for his continued encouragement in this space. So thank you, Chet. Appreciate it very much. Any other comments by commissioners? This is not an action item. Requires no vote. We're reviewing and doing exactly what we just did, commenting. So again, thank you, Julie and team, and we look forward to those next steps. Thank you. All right, next item, please.
Item number 9, presentation, evaluation findings from fiscal year 21-22 efforts to reduce African American child deaths.
And again, before we delve into the substance of this item, I have 2 speaker slips here on this item. Again, if others wish to comment, I would respectfully request that you please complete a speaker slip, and I believe they're at the back of chambers.
Correct.
And if you could complete that and then hand it to our clerk, I'll make sure that we call you in the order that I receive the speaker request forms.
Great. We have Linda Fong-Samara, who's our lead planner, will be kicking us off on this item.
All right.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. It's
Good
really
afternoon.
great to see everybody in person and actually provide this annual update to you all in chambers today. So thank you for having us here. Just wanted to give a little brief background. We always do every year for people that may be tuning in for the first time and not familiar with this project. As some of you may recall, we have been involved in this effort from the very beginning, and believe it or not, it has been over a decade. It was in 2012. Supervisor Serna initiated the Blue Ribbon Commission, and First Five Sacramento joined that commission and helped to develop the report of recommendations that is really guiding some of the work that we're doing and leading the way in how we can address this unfortunate disproportionality in the community. We, as a commission, were actually able to begin funding programs and services as early as 2013. So we've been investing in this effort, trying to really always keep family and community at the center of our work. And as we've learned every single year, every report, we're trying to just learn and grow and change along the way. So we're really excited to continue to be a part of this community collaborative. We are a part of and feed into the Black Child Legacy Campaign. We're on the steering committee, and we're all really united in that idea of a collective impact model where we're all coming together with a common goal, some shared measurements. We communicate with each other. We see how we can leverage each other's resources and really work together on that same vision and really have a huge impact in our community. So we're excited to be here today to really share an update with you. We are going to kick off with a presentation from our partners at the Sierra Health Foundation. We have Chet Hewitt here and Shelley Dyer. Sierra Health is the backbone organization for the Black Child Legacy Campaign, the steering committee, and community incubator leads. And they're going to share some information with you about how they are working to address all 4 disproportionate causes of African American child death. Next, we'll have our partners at Applied Survey Research. Jordan Cutty will come present and share with you some quantitative data we have from both our funded programs and also some data that we get from public health and the Child Death Review team. So that provides some context in terms of the numbers, how we're doing. She will also share some information about what things are looking like in terms of our county-wide trends. And then lastly, we do have some public comment from these amazing people in the room. And I think it's so important to hear from the community because they provide really the context, right, for what's behind the numbers and can show you real life, what's happening in the community and what this all means. So in short, we have a lot of information to share with you today. We're really proud of all of the efforts that are happening in the community. Because there's so much information, we're hoping that you can hold your questions to the end of each presentation.
That's a big ask.
I'm going to try. I appreciate it. But I know sometimes there are just some really burning questions. So if you could try, that would be much appreciated, but understand if you can't. But again, we're really proud of this effort and really just proud to be here today. And so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking up here today because our presenters have really important and interesting information to share with you. And I just have one spoiler alert as I close this introduction, and that is what you'll see from the presentations is that we're making some important progress in our community, but the work is not done. We have a lot of work to still continue to do. And I really think it is the partnerships, it's the systems work, it's the continued collaboration that will continue to lead the way. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Shelley and Chet.
Linda,
Thank you.
before you leave the podium, just let me express how grateful I am to you. You've been perhaps one of the most consistent individuals in terms of your presence on this subject since I first asked those questions back in 2011 about the disproportionality in African-American child deaths. And I know that you've really not just reported for duty every day at First Five, and you just don't receive this as a task, but you internalize it. I know it's personal for you, and it really comes through in the great work and the leadership that you provide. So thanks for everything that you've been a part of as it relates to this effort.
Thank you. I'm very honored to be part of this work, and it's all these people behind me and in the community that are doing all the hard work. So thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm going to be brief here today because Shelley's going to do the presentation, and I'm actually struggling with my voice a little bit. I want to say first and foremost, thank you to each and every one of you for your support for the Black Child Legacy Campaign over the 10 years of its existence. And clearly, I'm going to turn my back for a moment, not to be impolite. I'm going to thank all the folks in this audience for their commitment to this work as well, because as you all know, without them, this would not have happened. Right?
Yep.
I know some of you, in particular Chairman Cerna, don't like this, give you a lot of accolades about this particular work. But in the world in which we live in now, we know how important it is to be steadfast in caring for children. And it does not always happen, unfortunately. But that is not the story that we've come here today to tell you today. And while there is clearly is much more work to be done, and children and families are under enormous forms of stress, we know that what we've started here has added a lot of value. And if not for our work, things would likely be much worse than they are today. So we've got to think about it in that context as well. I'd also say that since this is the 10th anniversary of this work, I think my hair was not gray when we started at all. I'm not saying it's the cause of the work, but it just shows the level and the length of commitment that has been demonstrated to this work. The level and length of commitment that you all have displayed in supporting communities to find the best way to address those 4 leading causes of death, which are still the leading cause of death for Black children in this county. I can say from the Sierra Health standpoint, we are as committed to this. We are actually even more committed to this than we were the day that we got started. And despite changes in leadership, we started here many years ago with Montgomery Block, who you've all got to know pretty well. Today, you'll see again Shelley Dyer, we know that we have the talent and the commitment to sustain this work for as long as it's going to take for us to get it right. And the getting right is really a simple benchmark for us, and that is the complete elimination of disparities in child death between Black children and all of their peers. That is the goal. That is the benchmark. It's really straightforward and really clear for all of us. I will stop there and turn it over to my extraordinary colleague, Shelley Diamond.
Thank you, Chet.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good
It's great
afternoon.
to be with you all today. I would like to, as Chet has already honored, just ask for the Black Child Legacy Campaign community members to please stand so that we can see you all. Please raise your hand if you are unable to stand, but I would just like to recognize the people who make this work happen every day. Thank you all.
I'm used to the green motif, so I'm hoping someone can explain the orange motif now. So there you go, see?
Supervisor Cerna, the green is still here. I see a few scarves
All right.
and jackets, but orange is actually the color that it's the color of ending gun violence for the month of June,
Well,
which is
I'm-
the national month to celebrate the ending of gun violence that we know will come.
Well, I'm a 2XL, so.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, we can get started. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Okay, during our presentation today, which will be a bit brief, but very impactful, and we'll be joined later by some of our partners at Applied Survey Research with more data to share. But we'll overview some of the Black Child Legacy Campaign program successes, just share a bit about the infrastructure, which you all are very familiar with, but just share that that infrastructure is still standing with our community incubator lead sites. And we'll also share about the Healing the Hood and case management, as well as an exciting launch of the Building Stronger Families program, and some of our system change successes that are still in existence today. The origin story of the Black Child Legacy Campaign, as you all know, the Steering Committee on the Reduction of African American Child Deaths was created, and that steering committee is convened at Sierra Health Foundation in the center, and the initial goal was set to reduce African American child deaths in Sacramento County by 10 to 20% by the year 2020. And to our excitement, those reductions have been surpassed. Those rates of 10 to 20%. We'll hear more from our partners at Applied Survey Research about those reductions in African American child deaths. We know that there is still so much work to be done in this area, but just want to pause to really honor also the work of the Black Child Legacy Campaign and the people that you see here in this audience, in really making a lot of gains and starting to close that disparity gap. We remain committed to this cause, and we recognize that there's still much more work to be done. For the infrastructure of the Black Child Legacy Campaign, this work is housed with our community incubator lead sites across the 7 neighborhoods in Sacramento County that have the highest rates of African American child deaths. As you can see here on the screen, those neighborhoods are represented from the north of Sacramento to the south of Sacramento. And each of those sites still have their multidisciplinary team with partners throughout county agencies, as well as staff who are on site at each of the community incubator lead sites. To share a bit more about this multidisciplinary team, these are just some of the members, and I'll also add that based on the needs of each of our community incubator lead sites, this multidisciplinary team can vary, but these are just some of the examples of those who are consistent throughout each of our community incubator sites. And that includes partners from the county, Sacramento Probation Department, the Department of Child, Family, and Adult Services, Child Protective Services, the Department of Human Assistance, our community intervention workers, Her Health First, and our partners at UC Davis Health, and many of which are here today to join us. With the community of the Black Child Legacy Campaign, there are people who are staff on site, and there are also county partners who are here, and many of them are here in the audience today as well. To share an update on the numbers of people served and engaged from fiscal year 21 to 22, this is a snapshot of just the impact in the amount of services provided to people across these communities. An astounding 4,765 African American residents receive services. I won't read through all of the other numbers here, but you'll see that through many different partnerships with the county, Safe Sleep Baby, people being connected to prenatal care, families who are receiving cribs, as they leave the hospitals with their newborns, youth leadership and youth engagement in their roles, and training on how to safe sleep babies, which we know that infant death due to safe sleep disorders was one of the leading causes of death in Sacramento County for African American children. This is just a share of the Healing the Hood wraparound support overview. And this is something to be really proud of. We know that prevention is something that's very challenging to measure. But what we do know is that 68% of prevention service participants, that was focused on prevention. And 32% of services was focused on intervention. So this means that the Healing the Hood case management services are really going to prevent crises and prevent any challenges prior to needing to intervene. And that is a huge success and shows the model of the Black Child Legacy Campaign to really work to prevent prior to having to intervene. We have a few quotes here from some of our community intervention workers and our community intervention leads. This story is about a mother who was pregnant and came to one of the community incubator lead sites to receive services, and just goes to show that one of the statements here is that the work done in Healing the Hood is not always about bullets and guns. Sometimes it's delivering a pack of wipes to a family in crisis or a gas card for parents to get to work. Often when we hear about the work that the crisis intervention workers do, it can be really focused on the violence prevention work that is done, but it also has to do with families and supporting families in moments of crisis, whatever that may be. We have a second quote here from a CIL lead about another teen mother who was connected to prenatal services and was able to be relocated to a safe space with family members after experiencing domestic violence, and just goes to show that the Black Child Legacy Campaign continues to be a part of her support system and continue to see her through stability, and they're still working with this young mother as of today. This shares some of our sustained systems change successes. Initially, the Black Child Legacy Campaign launched the Black Doula pilot program, just information about the hospitals adopting the Safe Sleep Baby protocols, which have been a huge success. The county staff still being an integral part of the Black Child Legacy Campaign's team, and this network continuing to serve as a model nationally and countywide, including many different services that include the COVID-19 response, testing, and coordination. We are very excited about this Building Stronger's Family launch as well, an upcoming program that was a result of ARPA funding recommended by Sacramento County Board of Supervisors. This collaboration exists between Sierra Health Foundation and the Center, First Five Sacramento, Sacramento County, the Black Child Legacy Campaign, and Birth and Beyond. This really creates a beautiful bridge between collaborations who have existed in the community but not have this type of formal existence together. This bridges the gap between Birth and Beyond, connecting them to Black Child Legacy Campaign services and community, and just really creates an opportunity to build more relationships, deeper relationships, by adding family navigators to both Birth and Beyond as well as Black Child Legacy Campaign sites. We would just like to share a thank you to our partners and funders who are listed here. Thank you. Are there any, do I open for questions?
Does that conclude your presentation?
This does conclude my presentation.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. So commissioners, this is our opportunity to ask those questions, and I'm actually surprised we were able to get through your presentation without interrupting you. But let me just start off, and I see Commissioner Turner Johnson's in the queue here, but I just want to, again, thank you and everyone inside these chambers, outside these chambers, doing the legwork, and especially Sierra Health Foundation. I think Linda referred to Sierra Health Foundation as the backbone. I couldn't agree more. Without the partnership that this county enjoys and this commission enjoys with the leadership of Chet Hewitt and Sierra Health Foundation, we wouldn't be having this presentation. We wouldn't be able to celebrate the progress that's been made. So I think it really is kind of a textbook partnership. We're very fortunate to have Sierra Health as a very, very active member of this community that takes on, is not afraid to take on some really looming challenges that have to be addressed, in my humble opinion. So again, I want to thank you all, and especially Sierra Health and Chet. All right, Commissioner Turner Johnson.
Hi there. Thank you so much for your presentation. I just have a question. Yesterday when I was just perusing through the slides for the evaluation, I think this is page 165 of 175. It's the birth outcomes and related to preterm birth. My question is simply that in the discrepancies, the all infants preterm birth was before 11%, was before 37 weeks, twin 0, and then singletons, which I'm sorry that I didn't quite totally understand, 12%. Can you just explain the preterm birth ratios? If you could explain that, I understand it better.
I think Ms. Galillo's prepared to help respond.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay, Commissioner Turner Johnson. You're just like 2 steps ahead of us.
I'm sorry.
We're actually going to have Jordan Kati from Applied Survey Research walk us through all of that
Today?
Today,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
just
She's in the wings.
right after.
I hold the question.
Right after
Okay.
Shelley.
Great. Dr. Kassiri.
I just wanted to highlight that during COVID, the framework that was built with the Black Child Legacy actually helped us in being able to develop a program that actually helped the community and helped us get help out into the community. So again, I remember I had my frantic call to Sierra Health Foundation saying, we just got this money, we need to get it out. We need your help, and they came through, and just wanted to again thank Sierra Health Foundation, thank the community, and as pointed out, it seems like we still have a lot of work to do, and hopefully as we get COVID behind us, we can get back to looking at some of the causes of disparities in the neighborhoods and continue to address that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Moak.
Thanks. Again, I'll reiterate just some of how awe-inspiring it is that, especially like Dr. Kassiri said, during the pandemic and what we were being faced with, to see the increase and the just the positive movement that has happened with this program. I can really appreciate Chet's comments about the investment, both in kind of scope and size and then length of time, and that tracks all the way back to Commissioner Serna, who took this from just talk 10 years ago to action, and so he can't be commended enough, and he hates when we say that, but I'll continue to say it. I do have one question. I was struck by something you said there at the end around the connection between Birth and Beyond and what that's doing and how that's helping some of that kind of bridge building you described it as. You know, I don't mean to be the wet blanket, but we are in a situation where our funding, First Five in general, is decreasing. We are not on an upward trend with more money to give out. Is that fair? Would we characterize it that way? And so we are asking a lot of these organizations and the nonprofits that run some of these organizations like a Birth and Beyond, they have to critically look at what they're doing because they're likely going to have less to do it with. It sucks, but it's the reality. And so they are as creative as it gets. Birth and Beyond now has been around since 2000, what, Stephanie, 2000? Yeah, so I mean, we are 23 years into this project. There's no one that gets more creative than that group, but I'm concerned at some of the things we still know we need to tackle. With you saying that there is a very lively bridge that's built between Birth and Beyond and what you're doing, I'm afraid that when they come back and they say, here's some of our ideas and here's some of the things we have to unfortunately abandon, that this might be one of them. And I don't want that to be the case because of the path we still have to travel here and how much we've gained. So I get freaking scared about that. And I don't know how else to say it other than that. And there might not be an answer for that right now, but I think these are those things we need to critically look at because what's the saying about something, a bathwater and a baby or something like that I don't know what it exactly is. But it's like, we don't want to kill ourselves with something where it's actually working and we're cutting it back. So I just would put that somewhere on our map, somewhere to talk about.
Yep.
So thank you. Thank you for your work. Thank you for your work, everybody.
Thank you. And Commissioner Monk, I just wanted to respond in that this creates an opportunity really to connect those services, and so we do hope that the impact will be seen with being able to use those funds from the Building Stronger Families program to just further prove everything you just said.
All right, and I appreciate you being willing on that side to make that side of the bridge strong. There's two sides of the bridge, right? And they both need to be strong, and so I appreciate you being willing and taking the history, from Kendra behind and all the people that have been working really hard to keep both sides of that really strong and stable so that we can continue to make those steps.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I know Commissioner Wirtz is next here to speak, but I do want to respond and thank Commissioner Moak for his passionate acknowledgement of the challenge that we have from a budgetary perspective as it relates to this great work. But I guess what I would, in part, how I would respond to it is that, yes, here at First Five, we have by design diminishing resources because we mostly rely on tobacco tax to subsist. So while it's great that fewer people are using tobacco products, we know that going into the future as a First Five, and this is not unique to Sacramento First Five, this is the case for all First Fives across the state of California, we know we're going to have fewer dollars with every strategic plan. Having said all that, I think it's critically important, however, before we get too depressed by that, that I feel very strongly that this county of Sacramento and its leadership have embraced the Black Child Legacy Campaign and the RAACD efforts and activities for years now. And I would argue all day long that it really represents, amongst all the other challenges and setbacks that we are confronted with, whether it's the challenge of homelessness or public safety or a whole gamut of things, we can point to this effort as a very unique success story, not just here in Sacramento, California, but as Chet knows, across the country. And that, I think, really bodes well for our continued partnerships, our continued collective efforts to make sure that the principal metric of success, that objective of making sure disparities are eliminated, not just reduced, but eliminated, as Chet put it earlier, is achieved. And so that means that at the most effective times, I would challenge everyone that took time out of their day to be in chambers here today to know that you are absolutely welcome, especially at our budget hearings that take place here in June of every year, to let the entire Board of Supervisors understand that this is that success story that we cannot ignore, we cannot let go fallow. We have to, I think, not just play defense in terms of maybe tough budget years, but play strong offense in terms of the dividends that we're getting back, which is not measured in dollars, it's measured in lives. So again, that is a wholehearted offer, welcome, however you want to put it, to please fill these chambers. And Chet knows I do this often. Fill these chambers at the appointed time when this issue is before the board, to let us know how you feel about it. Because I plan on speaking my mind, as I usually do. But we can't do it without each other. So I hope you'll remember that and be there. So with that, Commissioner Wirtz.
Well, Chair Cerna, it's hard to follow that. I endorse that totally. So I was just going to also acknowledge that two things, that when we look at racial disparities, one of the things that I think this commission has done and we have done in Sacramento is raise the issue of the structural, historical, infrastructure, racism, and discrimination that has existed over the years. And I think the difference between just providing direct services and addressing the institutional and historical context has been one of the most rewarding pieces of my work here, of watching this body grow in its understanding and its willingness to take on those deep-seated root causes that have so damaged our community and led to many of the divisions that we face here. So first of all, I was going to do it the other way, but First Five has, I think, been a leader in Sacramento of pushing the county forward in that vision with its racial equity resolution and with its partnership with the county and the Board of Supervisors and Commissioner Cerna, as well as such a leader, to move this forward. But my argument has always been that government is not sufficient, and certainly Chair Cerna points out the need to push government to do more. I can't say that strong enough. But we also need to be committed, as you are in this audience, to the community taking leadership roles in defining and enforcing its own view of how to help its communities. So I just want to commend and acknowledge and root for and work with the community on trying to engage more and more of our community partners and community members in this effort, because these disparities are deep-seated and they're not going to go away with simple services. We need community mobilization and community power to make that happen. So I just want to commend you all for being here and for having that vision for how to move forward. So thank you again.
All right. I know that there are some more component parts to this this afternoon on this subject, correct?
Correct.
All right.
Another presentation.
All right, very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, Commission. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Jordan Kati, and I am a project manager with Applied Survey Research, who is the external evaluator for the First Five funded component parts of the Reduction of African American Death campaign. And so I will be here presenting to you both results from the programs that were funded, as well as community-wide trends that we keep account of to make sure that we are actually moving the needle to decrease racial disparities between Black, African Americans, and all other races. There we go. All right, so Shelley already talked about the overall goal from the Blue Ribbon Commission to reduce the African American child death rate by 10 to 20%. Just as a quick overview, as I'm sure many of you have heard before, they did provide specific goal percentages for different causes of death that are preventable for African American children. These include decreasing infant perinatal condition deaths, safe sleep deaths, child abuse and neglect deaths, and third-party homicides. Because First Five Sacramento impacts children ages 0 to 5, they have taken on the first 3 of these, which really tend to impact the younger children. The 4 different programs that I'm going to be talking about today that were First Five funded include a perinatal education campaign, a campaign that provides safe sleep workshops for parents, family resource centers to provide a multitude of services for families across the county, and then a pregnancy peer support program that provides pregnancy coaches to pregnant mothers. And just as a highlight, again, sort of complementing Shelley's great presentation, we know that the highest rates of child death are located in these neighborhoods, and so that's really where the services are focused for this initiative. So I will start with the perinatal education campaign. This partner was Her Health First, along with the Department of Public Health. They had two major sort of components to their campaign from the previous fiscal year. The Unequal Birth campaign was a education campaign for the general public to really make clear that racism is the root cause for the disparities in African American deaths that we are seeing among African American children and their mothers. And so their works this year included Juneteenth event where they had a really interactive photo gallery to sort of bring these types of pictures that you see to the right of your screen to life. They also have a very active social media presence with over 2 million social media impressions and nearly 12,000 clicks in the past fiscal year. Sac Healthy Baby is really focused on pregnant mothers, trying to increase education, especially for African American pregnant mothers. And they also have an active social media presence with over 3 million impressions in the last year and 7,000 clicks. The family resource centers are all part of a Birth and Beyond collaborative that we already talked about. These are 9 total FRCs. However, there was a change in how First Five provides their funding. And so First Five still provides all 9 FRCs with funding, but they sort of selected 2 to receive specific RAACD funding to do work that's really focused on African Americans and their children. And so those 2 FRCs are what we have data here for you today. You will see data on all 9 FRCs in the annual report for First Five Sacramento, which should be coming up in a nearby coming soon to a commission meeting near you. The Family Resource Centers focus on providing a range of services for families that really can dial in to being very intensive, the most intensive being home visiting, and then dial all the way out to being more light touch, which they're calling their CELS program. This used to be Enhanced Core, if you're familiar with that. So they also provide crisis intervention services and parenting education workshops as well. This fiscal year that I'm reporting on was primarily an implementation year. Birth and Beyond FRCs went through a lot of changes, implementing evidence-based home visiting models, parents as teachers. Also the change with this different RAACD funding took place, and so there were some home visiting programs that were implemented that were only for Black parents, so Effective Black Parenting Program. And we still have some of the ongoing parenting education workshops. So Make Parenting a Pleasure is the parenting education workshop that is offered. And so you can see here among African American respondents to the Making Parenting a Pleasure curriculum, so those who attended the workshop and took both pre and post tests to see what their opinions were for a range of parenting domains, including self-care, stress and anger management, communication skills, their knowledge of child development, and also positive discipline skills. You can see that there were increases across the board for all domains as well as overall, really displaying that these parenting education programs are being effective. Next, we'll turn to the Pregnancy Peer Support Program. So this was housed by Her Health First's Black Mothers United program. And this year, the BMU program served 162 pregnant African American women. Almost 70% of them resided in one of the high-risk neighborhoods that I had on the screen at the beginning of the presentation. There has been an effort to try to reach mothers earlier in their pregnancy. So you can see that most clients joined the program during their second trimester, but about 1 in 5 joined during their first trimester. So really trying to impact mothers as early as possible to have the best outcomes. So this is a lot on this screen, so I apologize, but I will walk you through it. We have separated out different factors. At BMU, the mothers fill out a semi-extensive intake form, and then they also give outcomes after participation in the program. And so we have split out some factors that we look at both at intake and at follow-up. The protective factors are being on WIC and CalWORKS. You can see, especially for WIC participation, that participating in the Pregnancy Peer Support Program helped mothers to get connected to needed services. And then for risk factors, obviously we are hoping that these will decrease with participation in the program. I won't talk about all of these, but I do want to draw your attention to the two sort of mental health ones that had really big declines. So anxiety during pregnancy was much higher than at follow-up, and depression as measured from the PHQ-9, which is a validated depression screener, also decreased significantly. I apologize that one of our titles is cut off, but the third one on the top is unable to fulfill food needs, and that also decreased from 7% who said they were unable to then 0% at follow-up.
Can I ask a question about
please.
that? So then how do I reconcile what appears to be an increase at follow-up where you have nutritional deficiencies down there?
Great question. So nutritional deficiencies are more like things like having low levels of iron, low levels of B12, not necessarily about being able to feed their families.
Got it.
And we think that it wasn't a statistically significant increase, but we think that the more that mothers are attending regular prenatal care visits, the more likely that they are to be alerted of nutritional deficiencies that they may have. So we have experienced or witnessed some similar data in the past as well with that. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Okay, so birth outcomes, and Commissioner Turner-Johnson, I'm hoping that I answer your question during this time, but feel free to let me know if I don't. So these are all of the births that took place during the past fiscal year at the BMU program. There were 71 births, and we have this split out among twins and singletons, reason being that twins are more likely to be born preterm and low birth weight, and so we wanted to make sure we include a column that it has everybody in it, all infants, but that we also separate out those twins and singletons. And actually, kind of excitingly, this year, all of the twins from this program were born both at a healthy birth weight and full term, which is really, really exciting. Yeah. And we are seeing an overall healthy birth rate of 79%, which would include both healthy birth weight and full term. So you can take a look at those results as you please. The preterm birth rate for overall was 11%, and low birth weight was 10%. And as you may know, many times preterm birth and low birth weight do go hand in hand. So now we are going to switch to talking about countywide trends. As has been noted, we now have full data for the Blue Ribbon Commission goals that were originally set. So the goals that were originally set were set to end in 2020, and we now received the data for 2020, so we can ascertain where we are at within those goals and where do we need to continue to work. And so I will show you graphs for all of these measures, but I wanted to give you kind of an overall right up front. And also give you the caveat that the child death review team data for ages 6 to 17 has not yet been released. So we're not able to look at all child deaths for African Americans from 0 to 17. They have released data for 0 to 5, and so that is what I'm able to present to you today. But please keep that in mind, especially for the column about BRC goal status, and if it's met or unmet, that may change once we receive the full range of data. So for overall African American child deaths, we have seen for children ages 0 to 5 a 30% reduction and a 40% reduction in the disparity between African Americans and all other races. So that goal was met for ages 0 to 5. For perinatal conditions, we have made an impact. There's been a 4% reduction. However, it has not reached the level of the BRC goal, which was a reduction of 23%. And we actually saw a 2% increase in the disparity from this last fiscal year. For infant sleep-related deaths, we did meet the Blue Ribbon Commission goal. The commission goal was a decrease of 33%, and we saw a decrease in Sacramento County of 54%, as well as a 60% decrease in the disparity between African American and all other races. And you can keep clapping because the next one is also really exciting. Again, this is only for ages 0 to 5, but usually that's the highest concentration of child abuse and neglect homicides anyway. The reduction goal was 25%, and we have miraculously seen an 85% reduction among child abuse and neglect homicides, in addition to a 93% reduction in disparity. So really, really exciting, and we will go through each one of those sort of piece by piece. So before we dive in, I do want to talk about overall infant death. So this is just for those little ones under 1. This is overall, so it does include preventable, which is what we're focused on, but also unpreventable deaths, things like cancer, things that cannot be essentially stopped. And you can see that there is a little bit of a troubling trend that has started. African American children are listed in the blue line. Their death rate for infants went down to 8.3 for our rolling average years of 2015 to 2017, but unfortunately that has increased to 10.2 in 2018 to 2020. So we still see an overall decrease of 6% from our beginning of 2012 to 2014, but there is a kind of concerning trend that we're beginning to see, especially because we're only starting to go into the COVID years where we may anticipate to see further increases. And I'd like to take that a little bit further to look at the actual numbers of deaths. And I have this highlighted on my version, but the second row, which is number of African American deaths, is where you can really kind of see the year by year fluctuations among deaths. So and this again is just for infants. In 2018, we had kind of a higher anomaly type year, and so we do want to take note that our rolling averages were impacted by that, and you can see the rate year by year as well is very impacted by that 2018 number. We are still waiting on the 2021 data, and so I know that Commissioner Wirtz has some data from the CDC Wonder page that he'd like to talk about related to the 2021 data. And before we do that, I would like to take you through the rest of the findings so that you have a complete picture of sort of what is going on, at least for the 3 preventable causes of death that First 5 Sacramento is aiming toward. So the first one is perinatal causes. You'll remember we talked about this in the table a few slides ahead of time. Perinatal causes has been kind of up and down, but we are once again approaching the baseline rate. And so I think discussion could happen about how First 5 Sacramento could have more of an impact in this sector. Sleep-related causes, you see for African Americans that really, really nice decline that is due, at least in part, to the Safe Sleep Baby workshop interventions. Child abuse and neglect homicides, again, really, really steep decrease that we're very excited about, and that many sectors who are represented here today have impacted. And one last piece before I open up for discussion, we also look at the Black Mother United participants, the pregnancy coach participants, if their children passed away before reaching the age of 1. So can we say that the participants who were in the Black Mothers United program funded by First 5 Sacramento, do they have better outcomes than countywide, even though their numbers are smaller to be able to impact this sort of high intensity program? Are they better than the county? And so we found that between January 1st, 2019 and December 31st, 2019, those are when children were born, because we have the 2020 data that we then can look at to see if they passed away. There were 137 births and 0 infant deaths in that following year. So that's really, really exciting and promising data to show that compared to the county, where the rate for African American death is 10.2 per 1,000, Black Mothers United program is 0 per 1,000, significantly lower than countywide. So congratulations to the Black Mothers United program. And that concludes the majority of my presentation. I am happy to entertain any questions or discussion items.
Great, thank you, Jordan. That's a lot to take in. So I'll look to my colleagues first to see if they have any specific questions for Jordan. I do have a couple of speaker slips on the item. So what's the pleasure of the commission? We can go take our speakers and then maybe bring it back to the commission for discussion deliberation. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. First is Stephanie Biegler and Kemba Randall. And then Shannon Shaw is our last speaker.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Chair Cerna and commissioners. We are proud and inspired by the presentation that you just heard. I feel like Adele last night on the Grammy Awards when she said she wouldn't cry, and then here I am trying to choke back my tears. These programs are very important to us personally, to our agency, and most importantly, to our community. There is no greater honor in this world, I think, to be able to stand here and all of you and say, we've saved the lives of children. There's nothing more important than that. And I am proud to stand by my colleague, Kimbra, as soon as I get done with a little bit of these structure details that I want to talk to you about, and let her bring to life individuals that have been touched by our programs, have taken action based on what they've learned, and they have children that are safer, stronger, than they would have been without our intervention. I'll let you introduce yourself, and then I'll. I'm supposed to.
Stephanie?
Oh yeah, I'm supposed to introduce myself.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
gonna
I'm
get. I was
sorry.
gonna.
I'm sorry.
I was gonna have you do that.
I'm not Adele, but I am Stephanie Biegler. Wait, maybe I wish I were. I'm Stephanie Biegler with the Child Abuse Prevention Center. Thank
Great,
you.
Thank you.
And my name is Kimber Randall. I'm also with the Child Abuse Prevention Center.
And my comments today, my main message is to thank you. Thank this commission, thank Julie, the commission staff, for all of their support and for your funding on behalf of the Safe Sleep Baby program that CAPCE is very proud to implement, as well as our being the lead agency for the Birth and Beyond program. We are obviously very proud of our role in the reduction of both the rate and the disparity of infant sleep-related deaths as it relates to our Safe Sleep Baby campaign. There are many proud moments, which seems to be my word of the day in that campaign, but I wanted to reiterate a comment that Shelley made about impact and hospital systems changes. And before Safe Sleep Baby, our hospitals were doing nothing regarding Safe Sleep Baby education. And through this program, there has been a major systems change. All four hospital systems and all 8 birthing hospitals now have part of their protocol education on infant safe sleep. And when they ask the mother, where are you going to sleep your baby when you go home, if there isn't an answer, such as a crib or a bassinet, we get an immediate referral, and within 24 hours, we at CAPCE, Kimber and team, respond to that referral. So yes, we're saving lives. We also are doing that in partnership with hospitals that, as we all know, are one of our primary partners in the important work that we're doing. I also wanted to comment briefly about the Birth and Beyond program. And even though this year there were 2 FRCs that were pulled out for RAACD funding, when you look at that trend line, you cannot help but see the impact of all 9 family resource centers in partnership with the CILs and RAACD in bringing near to zero the child abuse and neglect homicides for children ages 0 to 5. So we're proud of that. And I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge and appreciate Sacramento County's exemplary child death review team. I remember Supervisor Cerner being in this room with my supervisor, Sheila, who unfortunately can't be here today, and hearing the recommendation from Child Death Review Team born out of our 20-year report that a Blue Ribbon Commission be established to determine why there was disproportionality in the deaths of African American children and what the heck we needed to do about that. And here we are today. So I know Scott says you get embarrassed, but I want to join him in embarrassing you and thanking you for that leadership. And please know how dedicated all members of the Child Death Review Team are, and there are representatives from all of these agencies that come on a monthly basis to thoughtfully review and consider the death of every child, and so that we can have outcome data like we do. Enough from me. Now it's very important that you hear from Kimbra, and I so want to thank Kimbra, her supervisor, Renee Velasquez, who is unable to be here today. They are really the miracle workers in our county. They have taken the Safe Sleep Baby program and our very modest funding of $179,000 a year and have done magic with it. And Kimbra is going to share with you what she and her team have done and bring the voice of one of our moms that we served to hear to you today.
Great. Thanks, Stephanie.
Thanks, Kimbra.
Thank you. I will start out by saying that I have had the privilege of being a part of the Safe Sleep Baby team for the last 10 years. I started out as an AmeriCorps member, so it's really nice to just be a part of the growth of the program and just kind of, going from just educating our parents and caregivers to now being a part of the Child Abuse Prevention Center, where I get to educate all of our community-based organizations, hospitals, and clinics. And it's been nice to make that connection with all of them. One of the things that we really did focus on for our families is creating that individualized experience for them. So when we complete those Safe Sleep Baby workshops, we are getting to know them and understanding what their village looks like for them. So what does that mean for your infant? Who is going to be that village for your baby? And so we really want to make sure that we're educating not just the parent or the caregiver, that we're educating the babysitter. We're educating maybe the neighbor, if the neighbor's going to be the one watching the baby. Another thing that we've really been focusing on, which I feel like we've been doing all this time anyway, but making sure our families are getting that full wraparound support. So it doesn't just end with Safe Sleep Baby. They are given our Google numbers, they are given our contacts. We are connecting them to other Birth and Beyond Family Resource Centers, to our Black Child Legacies, BMUs. So I definitely greatly appreciate everyone in this audience. As I know most of your faces, you've seen me in the Safe Sleep Baby training. So I definitely want to bring light to that we do make sure that our families are getting that full support, whatever that looks like for them. And even if we don't know what that looks like, we are researching, we are finding that avenue for our families so that way we can close that gap. I did have the privilege to work with a mom, and I did receive an email from her, so I wanted to bring this to you all because honestly, as I watched these numbers, it brought tears to my eyes just to say that I've been doing this for 10 years. And just to see the numbers was one thing, but to receive an email personally from a mom after she's had a workshop, you'll see, I will read it. My name is Amani, and I'm a woman of color. At the time of the workshop, I was 27 weeks pregnant. I had a nice experience while taking this workshop. My conversation with Ms. Randall was warm, engaging, informative, and at times delightfully comical. Realizing the resources that are available today versus back then was very refreshing. My belief is that advocacy paired with support and resources can make a true difference. That said, I encourage 2 members of my personal support system, my mom and my aunt, to take this course as well. It was interesting to hear their experience as they were born in different generations as myself. Overall, I think the program provides good information for keeping a baby safe while sleeping. Considering the demographics that is affected the most, all information is essential. The education provided in this workshop not only pertained to sleep, but it covered several topics that were imperative to keeping the baby safe, happy, and healthy. Additionally, mothers and their support teams can benefit from material provided in the program because it will give them a peace of mind, aid in their health, precautions, and allow them to pass the information along to someone else. I do believe that the Safe Sleep Baby program should adopt the Reach One, Teach One by teaching someone and reaching out to someone else new to inform them about the program. So our responsibilities as parents, advocates, and community is to set a foundation for our generations to come to ensure that they receive benefits that the program hopes for them to achieve. So this was an email that I did receive from a mom after completing the workshop. And so it was really nice because she wanted to make sure that her mom, as well as her aunt, that were going to be a part of that infant's village, that they were educated as well. And so that is just one of the success stories that I want to share.
Great. Thank you, Kimbra.
Thank you very much.
Shannon?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Shannon Shaw, and I'm the Executive Director of Her Health First, home of Black Mothers United. I'd also like to recognize our incredible Her Health First team, specifically our pregnancy coaches who are here with us today. If you could raise your hands. The successes that we are seeing are a direct result of their individual contributions and their work. While the outcomes of our program are deserving of celebration, the countywide infant mortality rates are alarming, but I would like us to consider that the answer may be, in fact, right in front of us, scaling up an evidence-based program that has proven successful, Black Mothers United. To highlight and underscore those incredible outcomes that we saw, there have been 0 infant deaths among infants born to BMU participants over the last 3 consecutive years. The percentage of babies born full term and at healthy birth weights have been higher than those county averages. We have increased the number of participants enrolling earlier in their pregnancies. There are statistically significant changes in risk factors, notably in the areas of mental health, promising impacts with even higher rates of positive birth outcomes with the receipt of doula care, and that having a higher number of BMU weekly check-ins significantly predicted healthy birth outcomes. Lastly, from July 2018 to June 2022, 359 African American babies were born who may not be alive today if not for the safety net of the Black Mothers United program. The reality here is that the current investment only allows us to provide our high-touch services to approximately 10% of the Black birthing population here in Sacramento County. If we want to see real population level change, there needs to be not only sustained, but increased investment and prioritization. With that, it seems that part of the answer to addressing the infant mortality rate is right in front of us, and I implore the collective leadership in the room, both First Five, the Commission, but our other community-based partners, to come together in an effort to identify resources that can supplement the significant investment and prioritization that First Five Sacramento has made so that we can continue to save the lives of the Black babies in our community. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Shannon. Again, those are the only two speaker slips that I have. Is there anyone else that wishes to address the commission at this time? Okay, seeing none, we'll bring it back to the commission for discussion. Commissioner Wirtz.
Well, thank you. I think this is incredible that I'm going to start by just reiterating some of the incredible successes that we've seen. I think the Black Mothers United results are just wonderful and indicate what can be done in this community. So that's just awesome to see that. The Safe Sleep Baby program has shown year after year an incredible effect on our post-neonatal death rate for infants and reducing the disparity between African American and other populations. And I think we've seen major successes in our ability to reach out to the communities. So I want us to celebrate that. And I think what we see is that First Five as an organization has a chunk of money that has been used well in the community to develop these resources and establish these kinds of programs. However, I'm a person from public health and concerned with continued quality improvement, and was pleased to see that we put into this report a recommendation to address the issue of the infant mortality rates. Unfortunately, as was just pointed out, the infant mortality rates for African Americans and for the overall population in Sacramento has risen over the last several years. And we discussed this at our evaluation committee when we reviewed the annual report, and the same data is being presented here. After that evaluation report, I went back to the literature and went to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention to look for more recent data. And I just want to urge us in the county specifically, and I know I still work with the California Department of Public Health, and CDC and California Department of Public Health have been stressing the critical nature of getting data sooner so that we can use it more effectively. So CDC Wonder has data for Sacramento County on infant deaths and African American deaths for the year 2021. And I am despairingly discouraged with the result to see that it will increase again with that data set. Now, that's a year ago and so our 2021 data is going to show an increase in African American infant deaths. And the rate I predict, based on the CDC data, is going to be 12 per 1,000, which is, but the 3-year average will still be about 10 because of the way that 3 years are averaged together. So I'm convinced as a scientist that this trend is real, that it has been going on for a couple years and that we are in fact seeing an increase. Now, when we look at it, we break it down, it appears that it is primarily around the perinatal infant conditions. And we've been interested in those for some time. And the data for our results that we just heard shows an increase in the perinatal death rate. So I'm hoping that we can take our celebrations and understand that they are profound and real and are valuable, but also look for some change in our behavior to look at quality improvement around what's coming next. So in the report on page, 58, we have a statement that came from the evaluation committee that says essentially, because of the especially alarming trend of African American infants born preterm and low birth weight, and because the perinatal rate is going up, it might be prudent to organize a committee, including those involved in related fields, medical teams, OBGYNs, community-based organizations, community voice, to create a call to action. And I was pleased to hear your recommendation of the same. And I do think that part of the answer, as you so well stated, is to scale up a program that we're seeing is working with evidence. And again, this is not simply a question of the first five. Obviously, it's First Five is just one of the major partners in Sacramento County. And so I'm hoping that as First Five has done so well over the years about bringing together groups to collaborate, to look for solutions, I'm hoping that we can continue that kind of leadership to move in that direction as well. So, but again, I'm going to restate that we have seen incredible progress with the Black Mothers United program, with Safe Asleep Babies, with the Family Resource Centers, with the child abuse and neglect deaths. Those are incredible successes that I don't think we see across the nation. So there is a lot to be celebrated, and there's, as everyone has said, there's more work to be done. But specifically, I think we can mobilize around looking at solutions for the infant mortality, increasing rates among African American babies, and among the rest of the population that has also increased over the last couple of years, and we're from where it was before. So thank you for hearing me out on that.
Before we hear from Dr. Kasiri, I just want to say I appreciate Commissioner Wirtz's comments, and I don't disagree with where the continued emphasis needs to necessarily be placed to address an area of this, this complex effort that needs a lot of attention. However, and this is not to minimize that, I think the question in the back of my mind, it's probably in the back of your minds as well, is what if we weren't doing any of this work over the last 10 years? Would this trend be a lot steeper? Of course. Yeah, I think we can all kind of guesstimate that would probably be the case. So as alarming as the trend is with regards to perinatal condition deaths, I think we always need to temper that with the fact that when you see trends in the general population mimic what's going on in the African American childhood population, I think you can say without a doubt that because of your efforts, because of the various interventions that have developed over time with regards to BCLC and RAACD effort, we can, I think, accurately state that we have done, I think, a good job of making sure that the increases are minimal. And so that's not to celebrate it because it's still an increase, but it is to temper it a bit with an understanding that because of these efforts, we may otherwise be staring down a much greater trend that would have me even more concerned. So with that, Dr. Kasiri?
Thank you. I do agree with what both of you have said, and I also want to point out something that I think Commissioner Wirtz actually said, is that program is not enough to eliminate the disparities, because to a large extent, some of these disparities are caused by institutional racism. And I think, and also, of course, seeing the trends in both groups also points to the additional stress that I think all of us have had to go through with the previous few years. So in addition to the call to action, I think it's important for us to realize the greater importance of the work that we are starting here with First Five in being able to address some of the root causes, the racial disparities that are caused by racism, of course, and be able to address that. And that can only be done as a community. So I think that's something greater that we need to look at as well.
Yep, agreed. Commissioner Turner-Johnson.
I noticed the same trend when I went through things, and I think that on top of what we've all gone through in the last couple of years, we can certainly add to it the issue of equity of care that has not existed in most cases. So that area of intervention, and as was mentioned in the presentation, the ability to get people at the very beginning of a pregnancy really makes a difference that I could see. I want to take just 1 second, I'll be quick, Supervisor Cerna, but on this 10th anniversary, I can't help but bring up my late husband's name, who was in this from the beginning. Trying not to be emotional, I don't know why I am. I have a deep passion for this subject, but I do think the voice that's coming through to now is Grantland Johnson's. Oh, I thought you were too young to know. Okay, I have 3 things that I keep hearing him tell me to say, and it's about the leadership. It's about the magical infrastructure that's been created that cannot, and I'll say a tiny moment about that because I've watched it. So it's that. And finally, I want to speak to community about your part in this that he's telling me to say. Number 1, Phil, you and Chet. I remember and was around when the talking was going on, but nothing had come to any kind of even vision yet. And I'm sorry Chet's not here to hear it, so I so hope you'll take this back to him. He loved Chet and Phil. He loves you dearly. He's so proud today to see and hear all these details that I keep absorbing again and again, A, to understand, and B, to look into the future of what we can do still and will do, I have no doubt. But he's so proud of you, Phil, because you carried the water all these years, okay? I'm sorry, he doesn't mean to embarrass you. But you carried the water because he was in office, and he could, Chet was at Sierra Health, but he wasn't in office. Grantland he sat on this dais many times, but he wasn't in office. So he wants you to know how proud he is of you today.
Thank you.
Because he's right. If this had not gotten done, if the talk hadn't happened, if the Blue Ribbon Commission and then the continuing commission, none of this, we would be in despair over what we were facing today. I have no doubt. So leadership, because you all know, if without leadership, you just can't really get it. Where if they don't help, if they're not with you, if there's not the money behind it, that they have the ability to help fight for it, about leadership. But the infrastructure, I remember the days when there weren't any of the CILs, none of this. This has evolved over 10 years. There were little forays out into the community. We'd meet Phil, and I just drove. I didn't do anything or know anything. I just drove. And you guys would come out, 1 or 2 grandmas, or a daughter, or a mother-to-be, but very few. When you look at the infrastructure that exists today, with all of the teams, the team staff, the team at each of the CILs, which I've had the pleasure of visiting most of over these years, the work that's gone on, I just think it's magical. There have been bumps, I know, along the way of communication and who's doing what and who's responsible. I know all that. Doesn't matter because you survived it and it just gets better. right? We know how to get better. But most of all, what I hear Grantland saying right now is he wants to thank the community. And you know why? You had the courage and the fortitude to trust. It wasn't, what do I know? I'm just speaking through, but I know it wasn't easy to trust when suddenly there were people saying, we'll help you, we'll do this, we'll do that. It's not easy to trust systems when you don't know them. And what I see, and through perhaps that perspective of this leadership and the magical evolvement of an infrastructure that's very complex and amazing, but you all said, we're going to join. We're going to form relationships. We're going to become leaders. And we're going to carry this with the community. And that is the only reason. So I feel Grantland say, thank you. It could have not happened. Somehow somebody could have not joined in the way. The volume of community trust and involvement and taking on, being empowered to take on your own leadership is truly amazing, and he's so proud. So proud of you. And lastly, I just want to say, I know I'm an optimist, but I'm also a researcher, and I also am skeptical and look at figures and feel my way into the future. And what I believe, what I see, is that the passion and the profound sense of dedication and the improvements that we have continued to see, though nowhere near 100%, I think there is no doubt that we will find both the strength and the foundation and the leadership to take this on, both with the county and beyond. It's going to continue, and we're going to find the money to do it. And I'll be at that meeting in June, too. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Hey, Deborah, why don't you come down to the...
This just spoke on my heart just now because of what you said, and I have to say this. So one day I was over at First Five with Sasha Vogt, and I was walking through the longest hallway of my life, getting ready to get on the elevator. I seen you and your husband, and for whatever reason, my name is Deborah Cummings, and for whatever reason, your husband just kept talking about my father, kept talking about my father. My father's name was Levester Cummings. He grew up in Strawberry Manors along with your husband. The next thing I know, you told me, you are the one for this job over at Sierra Health, and you start talking about this program that I am on now. And I am personally here to thank you and your husband. Everything I am is because of you that day on that elevator and your husband. I can't even imagine my life today because my father's friendship with your husband and your dedication and seeing something in me I didn't even know that I had. I am boots to the ground, 25/8 because of you, and I want to thank you. I thank Sasha every single day.
Oh, Sasha, right.
Sasha, but when you said that about your husband, it just made me, I had to stand up and say something. I thank you for making me the best that I can be for Del Paso Heights.
Well, you're so kind. You did it. I just want to say lastly, the only reason I did is the one and only subject in the world that I knew more about in detail than Grantland Johnson was this. Early childhood is my thing, and so that's the only reason I knew that you could do this. And thank you.
Commissioner Gross.
So all of that is really hard to follow. I'm new here, so I don't have all of this history. But I did have a question after Shannon spoke. Shannon, right? Because I want to know, so if you had all the money that you needed, how scalable is Black Mothers United? Like, could we really reach all?
I've never seen anyone get to the voting campaign. Wow.
And I'm wondering what else do you need it sounded like you said that if you had 10 times as much money, you could reach 10 times as many people. But I'm wondering what other factors there are that are limiting as far as who you can hire, who actually wants to do this program, et cetera. And so if you could give me just kind of an idea of, if you had all the money in the world, where could we be by 2027?
Well, I think that to Commissioner Wirt's point is that we cannot do this alone, and it cannot just be an effort of a community-based program, although we know that it's an important central part to this. I mean, in a perfect world, a program like Black Mothers United should be a program like the Comprehensive Perinatal Services Program that is written into Medi-Cal law that says that every patient seen who is Medi-Cal eligible by law is required to be offered the CPSP program. Black Mothers United should be written into Medi-Cal law. This framework can be adopted to continue to serve specifically African American Black families throughout the county, but there's also an amazing framework here that could be adopted to serve other birthing populations as well. So I think in the long term, like pie in the sky idea, like that's where we're at. But now I think it's looking at true intentional and dedicated partnerships with the various health centers here in the community who already are operating things like CPSP so that every patient that's going in is getting that automatic referral. And certainly not everybody's going to opt in, and it may not be the right fit, but it's offered. I think that's, I don't know. I could go on, but I will save time. Thank you. I hope that answers your question.
Draft your bill. Thanks.
I mean, I just might.
Well, thank you, Shannon. Commissioner Gross, does that conclude your comments, questions, statements? Okay. All right, very good. All right, I don't see anyone else in the queue. This is a non-action item, but let me just close with, again, expressing my gratitude to the community and to everyone that's, as was mentioned, boots on the ground, because this is a great day, right? We can celebrate terrific outcomes that are measured in lives saved, but I think we'd also agree that we can do better and we will do better, because what's at stake is the most valuable thing amongst us, and that's our children, right? So, and I'm convinced we're going to be able to do that, but we're not going to do it alone. So, again, thanks to everyone. Jordan, thank you for your presentation, and Stephanie, Kemba, and Shannon, and other community partners for all you're doing. Shelley, where's Shelley at? Where's she? Oh, there she is. Shelley, thank you so much for all you do with Sierra Health, and let's leave today's meeting in the hopes that we can reconvene a year from now, and we're going to be celebrating some numbers going in the right direction. All right. All right, thank you very much. Last item on our agenda, commission member comments. Any comments from commissioners? All right, seeing none. If there's no further business before this commission, we stand adjourned.